Watch me. I'm cool. Because I feel like it's kind of a unanimous opinion right now that Super Mario Run is just lame. Who gives a damn about that one? It was one of Nintendo's first mobile games and it was a failure. And the gameplay itself, get out of here. Well, I'm about to do something a bit unprecedented. I am about to defend Super Mario Run and say it's fine. But a little bit of history first. So this was back in 2016, the first year Nintendo sinned. Yeah, this was kind of like a when pigs fly situation. For years on end, Nintendo refused to make mobile games. Now, I never really expected them to do so, but their investors would not stop pestering them about it. It was like at every one of their investors meeting, they'd get the question, when are you gonna make mobile games? Have you seen how much money mobile games can make? And Satoru Iwata would always answer that with like, no, shut up. But little by little, it felt like Nintendo was kind of getting just whittled down. Investors would ask about free-to-play games, and Nintendo went, no, okay, fine, here's Steel Diver Sub Wars on the 3DS. Thank God, Nintendo is saved. But then around 2015, it was pretty obvious to Nintendo that their current lineup of systems wasn't gonna cut it, and they definitely needed to expand a bit more. Around this time was actually when rumors of a Mario movie were floating around, and this was also around the time Nintendo announced a partnership with Universal Studios to start talking about the concept of Super Nintendo World. They're also talking about doing more with merchandising and just spreading their franchises all around. But that also included mobile devices. So Nintendo announced a partnership with DNA, a company I had never heard of up until this point, just to kind of give them a good mobile backend. While the 3DS was doing pretty okay, the Wii U was obviously really failing hard. And I think Nintendo did the smart thing here and decided to spread their franchises a little more out, not be as overly protective of them. Because at this point, it felt like nobody really knew like what Mario was up to these days or what the latest Zelda game was. Pokemon was doing like okay, but you definitely see the difference between Pokemon back in like 2014 to Pokemon in 2022. Just this huge, massive difference. I mean, Pokemon Sword and Shield was like the second best-selling Pokemon game of all time. And I feel like a lot of that success has to do with Nintendo expanding to mobile devices with stuff like Pokemon Go. And that wasn't really a part of this whole DNA deal. Pokemon Go was gonna happen regardless of Nintendo announcing, we're partnering with DNA to bring Nintendo games to mobile. Because, Pokemon's just a weird, different thing. But it's a good example to show how this expansion definitely helped these franchises, where you keep the core series, the core games, on the Nintendo consoles, but you put a mobilized version of said games on the iPhone. And in addition to talks about making movies and of course working with Universal Studios, it definitely set Nintendo up to be as successful as they are right now with the Nintendo Switch. But of course you gotta start somewhere, so what was Nintendo's first mobile game they did with DNA? I don't know, it doesn't work. Yes, Me Tomo, released in spring of 2016, and this was pretty much a mobile phone spin-off version of something like Tomodachi Life on the 3DS. The problem is, it wasn't good. It was fine. I mean, I got some entertainment out of it for a second, but there wasn't really a hook with it. There wasn't really a reason to keep playing. It was very, very shallow, and it depended too much on what players were inputting into it. Pretty much the entire thing was, you make your Mii, and you add your friends, and you answer questions on the app, and then, when you answer the questions and whatnot, you get to see what your friends answer too. And it had that Tomodachi Life quirk of like a text-to-speech thing coming out of your Mii, which was kind of funny, but that's all it pretty much was. It was pretty much just all about answering questions and just kind of giggling about what your friends answered. It was kind of cute for like a couple days at the most, but like, I don't know what Nintendo was expecting with this. I guess they wanted to put their own little Nintendo spin on the idea of a mobile game. You know, the fact that like, okay, what do mobile devices do the best? Well, let's do this social interactivity kind of thing. But I think Nintendo is trying to overthink it and be clever about what the best idea for like a thing on a mobile device should be, rather than just make a fun game for iPhones. You don't have to think about it that hard, guys. Around this time, Nintendo actually announced that their next mobile games would be a Fire Emblem game and an Animal Crossing game. Interesting. I think everybody knows that like one of the most wanted games on the iPhone was Mario. Leps World 2, anybody? Yeah, there's so many just Mario ripoffs on iPhone. There's so many like Mario Kart ripoffs. People would jailbreak their iPhone just to put emulators on it, just to get Mario games here. But Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem were good choices for games to get mobile versions. Though the fact they weren't doing Mario was very odd, but whatever. Come September of 2016, it's been a pretty light year for Nintendo. There has not been a ton of stuff coming out, and when stuff was coming out, it was dog shit. Well, we had Metroid Prime Federation Force the month prior, and then we also had Star Fox Zero and Star Fox Guard, Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games, Hyrule Warriors Legends. Oh boy. And it was really sad, that's pretty much about it for what was going on in 2016. We were a month away from the Nintendo Switch fully being unveiled, but yeah, it was a pretty damn light time for Nintendo. But surprisingly, in September, Apple held their normal press conference they usually hold around that time to announce mostly the new iPhone for that year. They'll announce a couple other things. And one of those things happened to be Super Mario Run. This was unbelievable at the time. Never in my life would I have ever expected to see Nintendo at an Apple press conference. I mean, this was insane. And then when they announced it was also like really exciting. It was really cool to see. Like Tim Cook was like, oh, but there's somebody missing from the App Store. And I'm proud to announce he's coming. And then you hear the sound effects of like a new Super Mario Brothers game, and then you see like it fade in and the crowd goes wild. And you see this little animation of Mario finishing a level on iPhone. Shigeru Miyamoto comes walking out to announce Super Mario Run. Yeah, frankly, it's like the most obvious idea for a Mario mobile game. I mean, what the Super Mario Run? Duh. The title was obvious, the idea was obvious. It's an auto runner, which I had no problem with. If you've ever played the Rayman games on iPhone, like Rayman Jungle Run and Fiesta Run, those are pretty swinging. I really like those. Now, those still had like virtual buttons you had to press, mainly because there was a lot more actions Rayman could do. But with Mario Run, it was obvious they wanted to go for a bit of a simpler approach where you only have to use one hand to play the game. It's really weird. Turns out a lot of Nintendo's mobile games are designed around portrait mode. They don't even give you the option to play in landscape here, but hey, it works pretty well. Turned out Apple and Nintendo worked out a bit of a exclusivity deal, which was weird. So Mario Run would be exclusive to the iPhone App Store for a bit. I don't know what that was doing. Who the hell bought an iPhone just to play Mario Run early? But I think they were betting big on this being like a sensation. I mean, it's Mario, and Mario came to the iPhone. I mean, there was like this huge trailer for Mario Run where it's like it was like everybody running and like there was like Mario like it ended in like New York and Mario jumped up onto the flagpole and it was like this really epic music playing. Like they went hard on the marketing campaign for Mario Run, a damn mobile game. And it blew up the charts when it released that holiday season. It was a December 2016 release, and I remember like it just absolutely just dominated the charts for a second. Yeah, so Mario Run was a free app, but then you had to pay for the game. You got access to the first 3 levels, and then it would ask you pay for the rest of this, which was $10. Okay, so props to Nintendo for attempting like a normal pricing structure for their game. Like obviously they didn't want to cram all these microtransactions in their Mario game. They wanted to keep their value high. Of course, these days, I don't really think they care. I think it's kind of expected for any mobile game to be jam-packed with microtransactions and all that garbage. If they would do a Super Mario Run 2 and it was free and you just had to pay for like whatever extra characters and all of that, I don't think like I don't think that would really devalue the Mario brand. I mean, Mario Kart Tour already had a bunch of gross shit like that in it, and like it doesn't really devalue the Mario Kart brand. So, but I think they were genuinely really worried about that back then. They didn't want to make a Mario game that had like gross monetization on it. So I think they kind of found a happy medium where a lot of people would download this for free because it was free, and then they would purchase the full game. I don't really think that worked super well. I think a lot of people downloaded this, obviously, but I remember seeing a lot of social media posts at the time where people were like, what the fuck is going on here? Why do I have to pay $10 for the rest of this? And in the mobile space, getting somebody to pay $1 is hard. $10? I mean, it's Mario. If any game could probably try to do that, it's Mario. But at the same time, I do have to question, is this Mario game actually worth $10? So this app has the save data that I used all the way back when this game launched in December of 2016. And yeah, I played this game a fair amount. I did enjoy my time with Mario Run. I got all these gifts and I pretty much just filled up the entirety of my Mushroom Kingdom here, which was a big aspect of the game. But the fact that I filled up everything, I don't really have an incentive to get the other things. See, I can hit build here, and I can go to the shop, and all the stuff they have on offer here that I don't already have, I don't have a place to put them, and I feel like it would have been really easy for them to just like add another screen here, but they don't. But this feels like the most like mobile thing in the game is the Kingdom Builder mode, which is just this extra little side thing for just getting more coins. Get more coins, you can spend those coins on things to decorate your Mushroom Kingdom with, and you get gifts. Oh man, I have rally tickets. Oh boy. See, the weird thing about Mario Run is that it's designed like a mobile game where there's usually microtransactions, but there isn't. And it's designed like a game that's infinitely playable. Like you can just keep going in and play. But it also isn't that. It has a pretty specific campaign mode. I mean, like, yep, there are all your levels. You have 6 worlds, 4 levels each. You can also go back through the levels to collect differently colored coins, each appearing after you collect the preceding one. So you have pink coins, and when you find all the pink coins, then you get the blue ones, and then when you get all the blue ones, you get the black ones. And I believe I did it with every single stage here. Wow. Like I said, I like this game. I just like how it feels. I think it's a genuinely fun auto runner. Now, is it anything amazing? No, not at all. But I think for what it is, I think it does a fantastic job of translating a new Super Mario Brothers game to a mobile device, especially in a way where you don't have on-screen controls like a virtual D-pad and a virtual jump button. Nah, you just jump. That's all you do. And the fact is, there's still a lot of skill to employ in Mario Run, even though you only have one button, which is just tapping to jump. There's like these ledges that you can jump off of to kind of do a bit of like a little extra fun twirly jump, and just jumping on enemies gives you different ones. There's all different kinds of jumps you can pull off by jumping at specific times, whether that's right before you jump over a ledge, or right when you jump on an enemy, or just jumping after a roll when you go down. There's a lot of cool skills you can pull off in this game. Now, it's nothing mind-blowing, but I think for a mobile interpretation of New Super Mario Bros. That's also an auto runner, I like it. The 3 sets of hidden coins really kept me busy for a while there. But one thing I really did enjoy was Toad Rally, which is kind of the go-to endlessly replayable mode in the game. Pretty much it's all about just pulling off those moves that I was talking about, where you just want to be as flashy as possible. You want to find as many opportunities to just wow the crowd of toads. which means you gotta kind of jump in very specific ways. Like, you know, jumping off of rolls, you know, doing like some combos here. It's definitely a different way to play, and I think it was really fun for a bit there. But after a while, I definitely kind of maxed out everything I could do in Toad Rally. I'm like, kind of, why do I need more Toads than that? I constantly have like 99 Toad Rally tickets. I have nearly 10,000 coins. I don't have any more room to add shit here. And that was pretty much the entirety of Mario Run for a bit there. You get a couple hours of enjoyment out of this. But I think for $10, you were paying for the Mario brand rather than like a fully fleshed out game. But that's where the Remix 10 mode comes in, which is a really cool addition they made to the game way too late. Pretty much you're just tasked with playing through 10 bite-sized stages consecutively, eventually just trying to get to Princess Daisy over there, which you end up unlocking. Which, yeah, there's a bunch of playable characters here, including Luigi, Peach, Toad, Toadette, Yoshi, all different kinds of Yoshis here. It's a really cool thing. I'm always shocked with how mobile games feature so much content like this, whereas the console renditions of these games just don't do this kind of stuff. Why? Like, why does Mario Kart Tour have like 500 playable characters? I get it, it's for money, but like, why did they put all this time and effort into 3D modeling all these characters, but like we can't even get that in the console game? Like, at least like maybe like 2 more characters, you know? So after taking a look at Mario Run again, it does seem pretty damn light in terms of stuff to do. But to be fair, that's because I have already kind of completed everything I can in this game. And I do feel like that's kind of an oopsie of this game, you know? You kind of make this a mobile game that's meant to be played in short bursts whenever you want. And it kind of just has an ending, you know? It's not a definitive ending, you know? It's just kind of like it gets to the point where you're like, I got nothing else to do. Mario Kart Tour, that damn thing never ends. I think they did that pretty okay. Mario Run, it feels a little confused. A lot of this stuff feels like it was designed for a mobile game that's never ending. The fact that it has like all these events that go on, I'm like, what is there an event for? Like, what? This isn't a kind of game that needs an event, uses, like, even works with events. I think there's definitely ways they could have tweaked this game to just work a lot better as a mobile game. And I would definitely be open to them doing a Super Mario Run 2 eventually. I feel like Nintendo had the potential to create these mobile games that take over the goddamn world. And they kind of did with Pokemon Go, though that wasn't really Nintendo's thing. Because when people heard there was Super Mario Run, everybody was like, oh my god, that's gonna be huge. When people heard Mario Kart was coming to iPhones, they were like, oh my god, that's gonna be huge. And they did fine enough, but like, it just feels like they missed the mark in terms of what customers wanted, and instead they went for more so what made sense on iPhone, which I appreciate, but at the same time, it's not what customers wanted. Mario Run was too expensive. I don't think most people that downloaded it for free were willing to spend $10 on it, and those who did spend $10 on it, a lot of them were kind of disappointed after they spent $10 on it. Because games like Rayman, Jungle Run, and Fiesta Run were significantly cheaper and gave you a comparable amount of content. You were paying for the Mario brand, not Mario Run. However, I still really appreciate Mario Run for what it is. It's a really solid mobile adaptation of the new Super Mario Bros. Franchise. In terms of the level design, they really did fully think through, hey, what makes sense on iPhone? What makes sense in a portrait orientation where you can only use one thumb? And I think they did a damn good job with that. I think Toad Rally was a ton of fun at the time. Now, I don't have much reason to play it, and I think that's definitely a downside of this game. I feel like they could have designed some things to be more infinitely replayable. But in late 2016, moving into 2017, I really had a ton of fun with this game. It was kind of one of my go-to, when I'm bored, I'll play a level or two in Mario Run. And that's all it ever really strived to be. But I think with a Super Mario Run 2, I think Nintendo could do a lot with that. Unfortunately, I do think they would go for a more microtransaction-y route. But if they announce it tomorrow, I wouldn't mind. Oh, I would definitely try it out. So everybody else forgot about Mario Run and don't give a damn about it. While I'm also on their side, I definitely do have a soft spot for this game. I think it's well designed for what it is. It definitely had a lot of shortcomings, but I think it was overall pretty okay. I mean, look at that. That's okay.